Okay, so this is the Flipgrid website. Okay, if you have already and if you have an account with Flipgrid, you can just log in, or otherwise you can sign up for a new account. Okay, so because I've already have a Flipgrid, so it brings me to the dashboard of the Flipgrid. Okay, let me go back. I have to log out first here. Okay, so if this is your first time, you can click sign up today. Okay, and then you can sign up either using Google or Microsoft. Okay, so I would normally use Google, but now I think everyone has the Microsoft 365 account, so you can also sign up with Microsoft 365. Okay. Okay, once you have signed up with Google, you can click here and choose an account to continue to Flipgrid. Okay, so like me, I have this account, so I just choose my Google account and it will bring me to the Flipgrid dashboard. Okay, so this is the dashboard of the Flipgrid. Yeah, so if you go down here, you can add new grid, or if you already have a Flipgrid before and already created activities or topics, you will have the list of the activities here. Okay, so for example, I have been using Flipgrid for my previous course SGDT 5013. So if I click here, it will bring me to the dashboard of that topic and also the topics. So for example, in this grid, I have 5 topics for one course, meaning that for we can always have several topics. Yeah. Okay, I'll show you a bit later. Okay, just to give you some introduction. Okay, so this is the previous activities that I have conducted. So we have a video reflection here, and I have 3 videos in it. This one has 5 videos, okay, and this one 3 videos. So perhaps you want to do reflection 1, reflection 2, and reflection 3. So we can divide that into several topics. Or otherwise, we can just have one topics, okay, for one activity. Okay, so here we have the responses from our students. Okay, for example, here I have 3 responses because this is a very small class. Yeah, I only have like 4 students at that time. So for this activity, only 3 students respond and take part. Okay, so if we click here, we can actually view the recording, okay, of our students.
Assalamualaikum. Hi everyone. I would like to answer the next questions. The first question is, what have you learned from this course? So I've learned about Weebly, which is a platform like Blogspot, where we can write our CV and also other personal activities that we want to. I've also learned about Canva, where I can make posters, CV, and other infographics.
Okay, so later when our students post their video recording, we can actually provide feedback, okay, and we can give a score, okay, or grading to the video, okay, in terms of the ideas, the performance, or we can also have our own rubric or criteria. Yeah, I will show that later. Okay, so if this is our first time, how we want to create an activity. So we go to my grid and add new grid. Okay, I hope that you can try using your own browser. You can open up for another browser on your desktop, okay, and try this. Or perhaps you want to just watch and try it later. Okay, so let's make a grid. So we will name the grid, okay? For example, this can be like the course, or the you want to use the course code to name the grid. So perhaps SGDT 5013. Okay, because I already have SGDT 5013, so I make it here like, for example, A192. Okay, so this is for A192 session. Okay, and then when you want to select the grid type, okay, you can either choose school email or student ID or educator learning community. Okay, I would suggest you to use educator learning community because it doesn't really requires students to join the Flipgrid using their own account. So meaning that even though our students doesn't have a Flipgrid account, they can join our Flipgrid. Okay, so I choose this one, educator learning community. And then we can create a flip code that we want to share with our students. Or this is kind of like the link that we will share with our students for them to access the Flipgrid. Okay, so you can just use whatever has been decided or proposed by the Flipgrid, or you can edit it a bit here. Okay, so for example, I want to name the flip code using my own code. So I can put it here like, for example, test or reflection 1. Okay, and then click next. Oh, sorry. It's not available, meaning that because this is a free version, yeah. So we have to compete with other people. So if the flip code has already been used by other people, it's not available. So we have to choose other code. So for example, here I choose reflect A. Yeah, reflect A. Or underscore. No, you can't use underscore. Okay. So you can choose any flip code that you like as long as it's available. Okay. If it's available, it will turn green here. If it's not available, it will turn red and mentioning not available. So we click next. Okay. So when we click next, we have an options. Either we want to add password to the Flipgrid for our students to access, or we can just leave it like that, meaning that no need for password. Okay. So if you don't put a password, anyone with the flip code can join and view videos. And it requires a Microsoft or Google account, yeah, to record. Okay. Or you can have a password, but it's just the same thing. So just for this activity, I don't put a password. Okay, so click next. Okay, now your grid is ready. Okay, so when your grid is ready, meaning that these are the link or the URL that we need to share with other students. Okay, so we can copy this or get the embed code and share it with our students. Okay, kita boleh share in our online learning, okay, or just provide it to the students through a WhatsApp group. Okay, so when they click on that link, they can go to the Flipgrid. Okay, I will provide you with one example later so that you can participate in the Flipgrid. Okay, so we can go to our grid. Okay, So this is the first grid we have created using Flipgrid for SGDT 5013 semester A 192. Okay, so by default, Flipgrid will automatically create one activity for us, like this one. Say hello on Flipgrid. So this is kind of like the ice-breaking things. Okay, so if it's the first time that you use Flipgrid with your students, you can just use this template. Okay, so, and we can edit the topic here. If you don't want to use the topic say hello on Flipgrid, you can change it into other topic. For example, ice breaking. Or go straight to the assessment task that you want to do, the reflection. Okay. And then prompts are the kind of like the instructions, yeah, that we want to tell our students on what to do. Okay, so if we go back to the assessment task that I have created here, I can actually use this as the prompt. Okay. Okay, they can say hello. Okay, and then share a fun fact about yourself. This is for the ice breaking, but since I don't want to do that, so I just copy this assessment task here. So what they should do is actually tap the green plus sign that will be available later in the Flipgrid camera, and then they can record a video. And what they have to do is they have to reflect on the 21st century learning design that they have carried out in the assignment 2. And then they need to discuss the strengths and weaknesses of the design and suggest action plan for further improvement of the design. So instead of writing based reflection, this is a video based reflection. Okay, and we can set the time from 15 seconds up to 10 minutes. So it really depends on the weightage of the assessment. Okay, so for example, this is like 20%. The grading for this assessment task is 20%. Okay, so if it's in the form of writing up, it's about about 2 pages. Yeah, it's about 2 pages of reflection. So 2 pages of reflection perhaps would be around 2 minutes of voice reflection. Okay, so we have to adjust that accordingly. Okay, so for example, I want to make this like maximum of 3 minutes. Okay, so student can record their reflections maximum up to 3 minutes. Okay, and then we have another options here about video moderations, but I would just leave this one. Okay, focus. Okay, here we can add a media resource to engage our students. Okay, so for example, I don't want to use this picture, but I want to have another one. Okay, so I can delete this one. And I can upload other materials actually to support the or to help students to carry out the assessment. Okay, so for example, here I want to upload an image. So we can choose an image from our desktop or computer. Okay, so for example, here I want to supply student with the Gibbs reflective cycle image. Okay, so that it scaffold their thinking when they do the reflection. Okay. All right. So when we have this one, the student will see the title, the prompt, and also the image or the focus media that we share with our students. Okay. And then we can also have topic tips, meaning that maybe you want to provide some tips to the students on doing the reflection. So perhaps you want to have some tips like reflect with fun, meaning that it's not going to be very formal reflections. It's not going to be a very formal video recording of reflections, but students can have more informal discussions, yeah, in the reflections. Okay, so it's really up to you on the topic tips that you want to provide to your students. Okay, and then other things are we can attach a link if you like, okay, for students to view, okay, before they do the assessment. And then this is the status of the topic, whether we want to make it active, frozen, or hidden. Meaning that if we have, if this is our first time, we want to launch the Flipgrid assessment, so we make it active. But for example, after one semester or after 1 year, you feel like you don't want to use that Flipgrid anymore, and you don't want the students to get access to it, so you can frozen or hidden that Flipgrid. Okay. Another things that interesting we can see here is what are the things that the students can do. Okay, the video features. So here we have the selfies and video, or selfies only. Okay, selfies mean take photos, still photo. Okay, but videos is the videos, or selfies only and then videos or none. Okay, so this is like the additional things that they can add into their recording. Okay. Okay, and then we can have a video title. Okay, meaning that students can add a title to their video. Okay, and then we can also allow the view count. Okay, how many view that the student has received for the video. We can also allow for sticky notes, meaning that students can add sticky notes while they are recording. So it kind of like have some editing features there. Okay, so it's not just about their talk or their video record themselves, but they can also supply with some sticky notes, perhaps a tags, okay, simple tags or icons and things like that. Okay, and then for the video editing, we can allow students to trim or rearrange the video clip. Okay, so a bit of editing there. And then attachment link, if you want them, if you want to allow students to include an external link to the video. Okay, so for example, if they reflect on their previous activities and then they want us to kind of like look back at what they have done, so they can provide us with the link of their video or to their work in the Google Docs or in the website and so on. Okay, likes is like we can click likes the videos or something like that, like we do in Facebook, yeah, where we can have the like features. So if we turn this on, we allow our students to like other student videos. Otherwise, if we turn it off, you can't. They can't like each other's videos. Okay, and then student to student replies. Okay, this is great for encouraging discussions or to engage students in the reflections. Yeah. So for example, one student has posted their video reflections. So other students can actually reply to that video reflections using video itself. Okay. It's like the thread in Facebook. Yeah. When you post a comment, other people reply to that comment. But this is in the form of video. Okay. All right. And then feedback. Okay, I think this is the most important part, or the things that might be of interest to all of you, where because when we talk about formative assessment, especially, we should be able to provide feedback and also at least provide them with some criteria or rubrics, yeah, so that it can help them to better performing. All right. So what we can do is we can either choose basic feedback just for the ideas and the performance, or we can have custom feedback. Okay. So for example, here, I have already created a feedback on the for evaluating this assessment task, where students will be evaluated on the descriptions of the design that they have created. Okay, evaluations, how they evaluate the design, so they can talk about the strength and the weaknesses of the design. And then on the planning, how they come up with the planning or the action plan to further improve the design, and the overall marks for the reflective thinking. Okay, so if this is like the the existing rubric, yeah, that I have created, but if you want to have new, you can just add criteria. So if this is your first time, you won't have this list, yeah, but you can add criteria. Okay, so for example here, you create the criteria title. For example, if you want to add a bit on the presentation, okay, or perhaps the digital presentation, if you have LOC, if your assessment task or CLO need to cater for digital presentation, you can actually do this. Okay, and then you add criteria. Okay, so criteria is the rubric criteria. Perhaps student is able to articulate their thinking promptly, or something like that. Okay, so it's really depend on your rubric, what you want to assess. Okay, because for this course, for this assessment, I'm not really looking at the digital presentation, so I don't have this criteria. Okay, and then we can have the minimum score, also the maximum score for that criteria. So you can choose between 0 to 100. So perhaps we can do 10 here. So create, and it will be added here. Okay, but if you found that no, it's not part of the assessment criteria, so you can just untick that one. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we are almost done with creating the Flipgrid. Okay, so update topic. Okay, so this is the view when we have done creating the assessment task. Okay, so we have the topic of the task, reflection, and then we have some kind of descriptions or the assessment task descriptions on what they have to do. Okay, and then the tips, if you like, and we have insert focus media here, meaning that they have to reflect based upon the Gibbs reflective cycle. So, well, actually, it's not really impromptu. It doesn't mean that when we use Flipgrid, it must be impromptu. But they can have a look at this first, come up with a draft, okay, or a script, and then they can record. Yeah. So it really depends. If you want to do impromptu, yes, you can do for activities in the classroom. So, for example, for ungraded formative assessment, I mean, so after you discuss on a topic, you create a Flipgrid and you want them to talk or reflect on the particular topic or issues promptly. So you can do that as well. All right. So when we are done, previously we already share, yeah? But we can always share again here. We can always get back the share code here. So this is the code for sharing, flipgrid.com. and the code given by the Flipgrid. Okay, so we can copy this, or we can have the QR code for students to scan. Okay. So for students, they can start the discussion by record a response button down here. Okay, so it will pop up their video camera, okay, and ask you to record yourself. All right. Okay, because I'm using. Okay, this is my first time using Flipgrid in my MacBook, so it asked me to do this. Okay, maybe we can try this using your own device. Okay, so if you want to try on how you can respond to a Flipgrid activity, perhaps you can go to https flipgrid.com/fgtrain, and then, or you can scan this QR code, grab your smartphone. Okay, you can use your smartphone, yeah, to do the Flipgrid activities. So for the students, they can easily record the video using their smartphone. So just scan the QR code and provide feedback or response to the Flipgrid. Okay, perhaps I can give you like around 2-3 minutes to try this while I'm looking at the chat box for some questions if there's any. Okay, if you have any questions, please drop it at the chat box. Okay, the rest, please try to give response to this Flipgrid.com. So this is kind of like just to get the experience of using Flipgrid. So later you can feel like, oh, okay, so this is what we can do with our students. And we can try to plan for this kind of digital assessment. Okay, that's the questions here. Can student view other student submission? Yes, we have that option before. Either we want to allow other students to see, or we can't. So, but normally, yes, it can, because the idea is we want to allow for more engagement, so students can respond or reply to other students' submissions. Yeah. So yes, you can. Okay, please share the link again, bit.ly later. Oh, okay. Oh, you want the link to the slide, yeah? So the link is bit.ly slash drnas_da1. Okay, so this is the link to the slide, to this slide. Okay. Okay, so for those who want to try the Flipgrid activity, go to flipgrid.com and FG train, yeah, or you go to flipgrid.com and enter the code. Okay, so this is the view for the students. Okay, once you share it, this will be the example of view that your students will get. So you will have the title of the reflection of the Flipgrid. Okay, and then you will have the descriptions. Okay, so for this activity, perhaps you can just say hello and then provide me with some information about yourself, your name, or perhaps from which schools are you and what area of teaching. Okay, and what do you think about today's workshop? Okay, and then you can click this sign, okay, plus sign to record your response. Okay, and in order for you to record a response, you need to log in with Google. Okay, meaning that you just need a Google account or Microsoft account. Okay, it's not really that you creating a Flipgrid account, but you need to have a Gmail account or Microsoft account. But later, you can actually automatically get Flipgrid account. The students can get the Flipgrid account as well. Okay, please try. Someone. No need to talk for so long. Just 1, 2, 3 seconds. Okay, so that you can get the feeling of how your students will experience this. Okay, let me check for if there's any other question. Need install the apps if using handphone. Well, I don't think so. You just need to scan for this QR code. Okay, you don't have to install the apps. Okay, it will bring you to the Flipgrid website, and you can do it that. But if you want to download the apps, you can do as well. Okay, so it will appear on your smartphone if you scan the code. Okay, the Flipgrid, and then you can just tap that plus button and start recording.